Gladys Berejiklian resigned as New South Wales Premier, there were very few people predicting that her successor would provide the state and the country with the leadership Australia was missing. But my view is Dominic Perrottet's elevation to Premier has not only reinvigorated New South Wales, but as we discovered today via his presentation to the National Press Club, he's also providing the entire country with a pathway to innovation and progress. Perrottet has deliberately taken COVID-19 off the front page in Sydney. And every day he's up early announcing new stimulus for new projects and new technology to solve old problems. And his general enthusiasm and energy is in no small way contributing to what is clearly a really confident mood now in the state of New South Wales. But today he had bigger ideas to share, including a significant reform agenda which would see the dumping, more or less, of COAG, that twice-yearly talk fest between premiers, chief ministers and the Commonwealth.
COAG might be good for a headline, but it's actually where good ideas went to die.
RIP. How often does COAG break up with very little agreed to and very little warmth left in the room between the players? Very often. So Perrottet, with the experience of being part of the board of Australian Treasurers, which he says was highly successful, wants to turn the Council of the Australian Federation into a union of state and territory officials only.
The states have so much in common with one another, even despite the differences. So it makes a lot of sense to work together, to share information, to test ideas and collaborate, all while maintaining a dynamic competitive tension.
Why not give that a try? And in practice, that would create a single level of bureaucracy, a sharing of ideas and systems that could get the country moving and growing. Now, he also wants to see portfolios such as education, childcare and others taken away from Canberra.
Now, I can tell you, it's hard enough to drive reform within your own state bureaucracy, but it's impossible to drive meaningful reform when there's another layer of government bureaucracy involved as well. So let's dare to think differently. I want to work with the Commonwealth Government for New South Wales to take on full responsibility for childcare and early childhood education.
You know, sometimes the staid and regal parliaments of politicians lose sight of the end game because, you know, they become encumbered by red tape, restricted by roadblocks. And it happens. That's what makes the young and the energised so important in any leadership group. 39-year-old Dominic Perrottet is that breath of fresh air Australia needs. We need to think outside the square. We need to dare, as he said. We need to be bold in searching for answers. And while a brash approach may lead to mistakes, and he'll make some, it can also create really good luck. Now, we're at such a turning point in this country, we need the likes of Dominic Perrottet to guide the country into the next positive phase. To not just come up with the big ideas, because we hear them all the time, but to execute them away from the red tape and make Australia competitive again. So far, I reckon he's the man.